Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Cobern, and today's episode is the top 5 best centers in the 2018 NFL Draft Class based on analytics. And the main analytics we're going to be using, as we've done with the offensive tackles and the offensive guards, is height, weight, speed, metrics. Again, we're Al Davis-ing it up, to say the least. I know that was a mouthful to say, but as sort of most people don't realize, the center position is a position like every other position where above average speed is the marker in most great centers at the next level, with some exceptions. But the bottom line is, when it comes to centers and great centers, you want to have centers who at least have above average speed, and the guys that are on this list are going to be guys who have the highest speed scores out of all the centers that are draft eligible for the 2018 NFL Draft Class. So I'll be very interested to see all the other athletic markers. You know, I like to project offensive linemen when I have things like their explosion scores, their speed scores, and their flexibility scores in terms of short shuttle 3 count. But as of right now, we're just going to look at what their speed scores are, and that's going to give you just a good idea of at least the centers that have the most speed in this class, or at least the most potential to be very good power centers or power guards at the next level. So let's get to the list. At number 5, we have Jesse Burkett, center out of Stanford. He's 6'3", 304 pounds with a 5'1", 440 according to NFLDraftScout.com. And his speed score based on that data is 81.16 out of 100, which is very impressive. It doesn't quite hit all-pro level when it comes to centers over the last 20 years for the most part, but it does at least hit Pro Bowl level for centers. Way above that mark, actually, because the Pro Bowl level for centers is at least 49 or higher. But at the very least, there's lots of impressive things in terms of his size and speed. You don't normally see centers that have this type of speed score that often, usually, so it's still very impressive from that kind of perspective. And I've not yet gotten into Jesse Burkett's film, but he's a Stanford guy, so you know there's some positives there in terms of what he could be potentially. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But he's number 5 in this list just because of how impressive that speed score is. And now let's get to the next man up on the list. At number 4, we have Brady Taylor, center from Ohio State. Based on height and weight, he's 6'5", 300 pounds with a 5'06", 40, according to NFLDraftScout.com, giving him a speed score of 81.99 out of 100. Now again, this speed score doesn't quite hit all-pro level when it comes to speed at the center position, but it does hit at least Pro Bowl level when it comes to speed at the center position. It's still always impressive when you have a center that runs that fast. And based on just his profile, being 6'5", 300, he's scheme versatile. He's a guy that has a size profile of someone who could play guard even. So there's lots of versatility just in terms of what he has on paper and his speed. And I'll be very interested to see what happens with him long term. But there are just a ton of positives with Brady Taylor. Plays at a big time program as well. And I'll just be very excited to see how he develops or what he becomes in 2018. At number 3, we have Dalton Risner, center out of Kansas State. Based on his height and weight, he is 6'4", 300 pounds with a 5'08", 40 according to NFLDraftScout.com, giving him a speed score of at least 82.54 out of 100, which is very impressive for a guy his size. He's another guy that, based on his height measurables, he could play guard, he could play center, he could play a multitude of positions. Has at least the Pro Bowl threshold when it comes to his speed score at the very least. I just think there's lots of positives here, when it comes to his overall profile. So he's another guy I'm very excited to see what happens with him long term. I've gotten to a little bit of his film from last year, and he was a fairly impressive player on film as well. So we'll see how this turns out. But at the very least, he's number 3 in this list because of just how impressive his speed score is. And now let's get to the next man up on the list. At number 2, we have Tiano Koroma, center from BYU. I probably said that name wrong, but his height and weight is 6 foot 295 pounds with a 5'08", 40 according to NFLDraftScout.com, giving him a speed score of 91.96 out of 100 based on his mass density. Very impressive overall profile with that speed score. The only major sort of question marks is one, age. BYU players are usually historically or infamous when it comes to just how old they are, mainly to do with Mormon missions. They give up a couple years of their eligibility to kind of go out and help in those Mormon missions, and as a result, when they finally start to play football, they're usually 2 years older at times. So that's the only sort of question, just how old he is, but there's still lots of positives here. He still has a very impressive speed score, and that is why he's number 2 on this list. And number 1 on this list is Toa Lodendon, center from USC. Based on height and weight, he's 6'2", 295 pounds with a 4.96 40-yard dash according to NFLDraftScout.com, giving him a speed score of 96.67 out of 100, which hits the all-pro level speed score he needs to hit in terms of center since the 1999 NFL draft class. Big positives here, just in terms of his overall speed score and overall profile as well. I'll be very interested to see where this kind of goes from here. USC is a big-time program on the rise. There's still some kinks to be worked out. There's still some things that need to be worked out on that line. But Toa is a guy that I am a little bit excited about seeing where he goes and how he develops and what happens with him. You don't necessarily have to view him as the top center in this class, but just from an analytics perspective, he's number 1 in this list because he has the best speed score out of any center in the 2018 NFL draft class so far, at least the guys that are draft eligible. This concludes the top 5 centers in the 2018 NFL draft class based on analytics. My name is James Cobern. You can find my work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video with anybody that you know as well. That always helps me out tremendously. And let me know, who do you think are the top 5 best centers in the 2018 NFL draft class? Remember that this list was made from analytics. It's not what I personally feel or what I personally believe are the top 5 centers in the 2018 class, as much as what the numbers say are the top 5 best centers in the class. So just look at it from that perspective. Check out the top 5 guys that are on this list, see if they're any good or not, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.